Doc ye shadow yi sesi a ye ka say doc de yaba letter yaba and I say release na babonti ye ready aban bi whether say they were restored or not the emphasis say omi bi we say we are resetting this country, so we are resetting because ne your baby and enkofo bi dia bedru baby baby omo de ba baby dru ye we say no baby. We have to go back to where the sanity everything was at its position, and we have to go back there. So yaba say now, do we have to do politics of equalization? Say where you been to the chinchina Ghana near ya employed say onko ya jumana onko tenefi.
Diga.
Yeah.
Somewhere abeto dwano. Otumi hu say Ghana no ye bibia no politics. And the equalization of things, no, abe the norm of the day between the NDC and the MPP.
Yeah.
But different. It was different under the MPP of President Kufuor. That is why I made one new name for this MPP. Now who I own him? Me boy, I was a mamembo. That's why I call them the Nanas People's Party. Okay, said NDC Amofia Baino in 2001. No omwa ashishe get fund at the atuho. And President Kufuor ebetu ye. And I'll continue. And at that time no, na we spew. And I dano.
Yeah.
President Kufuor is spew ewo. So one you know or maintaining no. For what? Because he believes in the wisdom of continuity and meritocracy beyond partisanship. But just ultimately,
yeah.
President Kufuor maintained a lot of NDC people in certain positions. But we don't see that with this new crop of MPP people. And of course, some NDC people as well. The President Mahama under the directive of the Chief of Staff, that may dream says, we have certain sectors unsanka. Because about healthcare sector now, look, we have a deficit in personnel. We share the nurse to patient ratio and teacher to people ratio. We are not even meeting the UN benchmark. We share the UN benchmark now. You see, for primary school, it has to be 1 teacher to 45 students. We share secondary school now. The benchmark is 1 teacher to 25 people. And to go share money now and recruitment now last minute. Whether last minute too, is it solving an issue to help us deal with crisis in terms of the human resources in our educational sector or health sector? We have to look at all these things.
Yeah.
And I believe there's a huge deficit in human resources, healthcare sector and educational sector. And so I want the Chief of Staff on call back now on call back to the drawing board. Now senior obetimia absorb, especially these key people Ziga, tell to the mekano.
Yeah.
Because there's also an understanding say aban bia ba omudi omu budget and a yejuma. And yes sir. Enti no nkrofo omu farm no na akoye say maybe they are not ready or the government will not be able to rake in a lot of revenue. The economy na and as I mean, another thing we have to also look at is that the public sector should not be the point of employment for Ghanaians. The public sector is overbloated. Why don't we now reform our economy and push an agenda for an enterprise economy, so that the private sector will be the engine of growth? And then say Mikosi Hospital KJTia Ziga me for doctors, me for nurses as a private individual. Say Abain would not even have to care about taking that agenda 111 project anka it should have been privatized. It should have been privatized. Say private sector would take part in it. And there is money for the private sector to invest in these important healthcare infrastructure. And then the public will save a lot of money. And then President Mahama also he needs about $1.7 billion to finish it, to complete the Agenda 111 project. And this $1.7 billion now, say I buy Kobobusia, Kama Ghana. But if they had created a policy environment, private sector, private individuals, say me misika see hospital no under a government policy and there's a guarantee, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it's very, very expensive to operationalize a healthcare system. Even the US is even struggling in their healthcare system. COVID-19 is revealing a lot of flaws in the US healthcare system. So no country is able to perfect it, but we need to ensure that the private sector so that government can save in money to do other things. Well, into the chief of staff say he should really look at it. Say MPP buy and omuye and this in buy omuye. So at the end of the day, no Ghana first. That is why you move Gina neutral grounds. We've held on to the neutral gear. And you say you earlier on, you say Alan Tramatin was the biggest loser in the just ended elections. Ziga, Alan Tramatin I say Ghana for Bonabaso papa. Because he has really created a new platform in Ghana's political landscape. Nkofu appreciate it, sir. Ziga, yemu binum na yewo MPP mu. I am telling you that and then the record of Mahmoud Bawumia Akufo-Addo no se me no metima betina hanum adefendi omo, let's say even as a former MPP as a mewo MPP mu I mean ento asum, because at the end of the day no political parties pre power the day edikoji to me asum oman no enti se o party na wo mu no omu ndi no kre omu conducted themselves katashisheni proye aye basa aye adoso your government or a governance system more and you say nipa o do Ghana or so betina se na o defend this party no zika say what they make no into no what the stance of Honorable Alan Kojo Tramatin, we members of the movement for change, it was for the better good of Ghana don't na opio da wo kan ho asem no mia na me start kutia personally identity ziga Ghana don't but just what you must hear into no we have to push an agenda. We want to see the political class love the country first and then patriotism enim here February 24th we Kwame Nkrumah said it was a Ghana's day of shame. How many of us celebrated or mark that event? How many of us acknowledge that day? Ziga, how many of us acknowledge that day in Ghana? None of us. A lot of people didn't even care. These are signs of lack of patriotism because Ziga ye can't obi say ye bona basu pane sum no pan kosi na Kwame Nkrumah should be number one.
Okay. All right. We talk about the doctor.